Okay, so I wanted to just kind of do a quick walkthrough of what we've really been working hard on all week in math. The key concept is how to use XY charts, and we covered a 5-step process, which we put up inside of the notes this week for the knowledge drop. But there's really 5 simple steps. One was create a double-sided XY chart. Step 2 was to write the rule in. Step 3 was identify all the points and put them in your XY chart. Step 4 was complete the rule. And step 5 was check your work. So I thought, what a great way to just do a simple tutorial and be able to knock out a couple of the homework questions for you. I would just use my homework as an example to walk through these problems, show you how that process works that we're really been focused on all week. So, like for example, when it says for number 5, it says reflect across the y-axis. Okay, well, I'm not going to graph this. I'm just going to use my XY chart. So the step 1 is to draw my double-sided XY chart. And all that is an XY chart on one side and then an x prime, y prime on the other side. Okay? Now, I've done my XY chart, so that'd be step 1. Step 2 would be write the rule in. Okay? And while it's not a necessary step, really, it allows me to know, that you are at least paying attention to the details of reflecting across the y-axis. So I do prefer that you write the y-axis and reflect across the y-axis. Okay? The next thing would be is identify all my points. Well, I have point B in this case, which is at -5, -4. I have point M, which is at -5, 0. And I have point Q, which was at -2 and -3. Okay? Now from here, all I need to do is apply my rule. And my rule that we've been working on last week and this week again was when I reflect a point across the y-axis, the y stays the same and the x gets flipped. Okay? And when we say gets flipped, we're talking about it becomes its opposite. So my y is going to stay the same. The x is going to become its opposite. So I'm going to take my y's. Since I'm going across the y-axis, they're going to stay the same. So I'm just going to rewrite them in my y prime columns. Okay? And then I'm just going to take the opposite of each x value. So the opposite of -5 was +5. The opposite of -5 is +5. The opposite of -2 is a +2. And I'd be done with that problem. I could go back and check that in this case, but since I wrote over my graph, I'm not going to. The checking would be just to graph one point, reflect it, and make sure it ended where it was supposed to. Okay? So again, for my 5 steps, it was 1, write the double-sided XY chart. 2, put the rule in. 3, identify all the points. 4, apply the rule. And then 5, check if necessary. So let's do that exact same thing that we've been learning now on a reflection across my x-axis this time. So instead of graphing it, I'm going to just make my double-sided XY chart. Okay? And what I have here again is I have, oops, didn't mean to do that. I have my XY chart on this side and then my X prime, Y prime on the opposite side. Okay, my rule is going to be a reflection across the x-axis. Okay, so I'm going to reflect across the x-axis. Okay, I'm going to identify all my points. In this problem, I have F, which is at 1, -5. I have D, which is at 0, -2. And I have R, which is at 4, -3. Okay, and from there, I'm just going to apply my rule, which is when I reflect a shape across the x-axis, my x stays the same and the y gets flipped. Okay, so that y gets flipped means it becomes its opposite. So my x stays the same, so I'm just going to move my x's over, and my y's become their opposite. The opposite of -5, +5. The opposite of -2 is a +2. The opposite of -3 is a +3. and we'd go from there. And that's basically what we learned on Monday and Tuesday this week, and what we're practicing on Wednesday and Thursday. We got to get really good at these XY charts, so I hope this tutorial helps. Thank you.